Okay, so I have 3 projects to walk you through, which I hope to get done over the next week or 2. First one is this compact portable. So back in the day, this is what would be known as a portable computer. This is before laptops. There's actually a screen. I'll do a more detailed dive, but with this, there's 2 main things to do. One is, this was built in I want to say roughly 84. So the capacitors would be bad. And if you plug it in, you're probably going to blow the capacitors, or worse, blow the main board. So I need to take this apart. I've already partially taken this apart. Let's see if I can get this out here. Yeah. So this is the main section. I got to get into the power supply to replace what's known as these RIFA caps. I guess while I'm here, I'll show you what it looks like. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but the keyboard comes out, and that is an actual CRT. You can see there's 2 5.25-inch floppy drives. But this is actually in incredibly good shape. You consider it's probably, well, it's over 40 years old. The other thing I have to do is these keys, when you press on them, they make a physical electromechanical contact. But the material that is used for that is commonly known to break down. So I basically purchased replacement contacts. So I got to go through the whole keyboard and replace those contacts. So with this guy, the 2 things I want to do before I turn it on is replace all of these contacts and get the big capacitor and the power supply replaced, and see if I can get this up and going. This will be a pretty neat one. Okay, so that's number 1. Then number 2, there's something called an IBM PC Junior. And I purchased this monitor, this PC Junior monitor. They're actually quite uncommon, and they're difficult to come across. And I purchased this for $30 from a scrapper. But when I purchased it, the cables, both the power, and you can see this here, this is the video connector, both the power and video connector were cut off. This is common for scrappers. They'll cut the cables off the end of it, I think in part to reclaim the copper in the cables, but also then you don't have the cable to trip on and on as you're moving around. Anyways, CRTs are really hard to dispose of. So anyways, nonetheless, so as you can see, I've already replaced the power cable. So I just took an old plug and wired this up and all, and I'm really pleased with how that turned out. But I have to replace this cable here, and you'll notice it kind of always comes all the way up here, and then here's the breakout for each of the connectors. The problem is the video cable for the PC Junior is proprietary, and it was only made for this one device. So long and short of it, I sourced a cable, and now I gotta because I have a second monitor which actually is intact but also is not working, I need to basically do a continuity check between each pin on the cable to each of these points in order to know the mapping, and then hopefully replace the cable and see if this guy's working. You can see again a bunch of capacitors and things like that. So obviously a transistor. Let's see whether or not I can get this going. I may have to replace some capacitors there. So that's my second big project. And then third, I've been cleaning up in here, as you can tell, but third is I have this, I'm really quite excited about this. I purchased an old Radio Shack color computer, but the thing is, you can see in the back here, there's this TV out. This uses what's known as a modulated TV signal. So basically, it takes the video signal and it modulates it at one of two channels, channel 3 or channel 4. The problem with this then is that modulation introduces a lot of noise, etc. And so, in fact, you can even see where you select which of the two channels you want. Although that looks like, oh, yeah, it looks like that switch might be broken too. So, anyways, there's a modification you can do, which will do a rather than a modulated signal, you can do a baseband video signal. So I'm going to actually buy that module and replace it here. This will make testing this guy and trying to get it up and running a lot easier, but also gives me a lot more options in terms of what I can connect it to. So, so there you go. And by the way, on the PC Junior, so I showed you the monitor. These are 3 PC Junior computers. I got these all relatively cheap. My hope is to get all 3 up and running, but at very least get 2 running, and then maybe have to use the 3rd for parts in order to get these guys going. And then also what I could do with this final one is either resell it again for parts or just for display. I also have to get these keyboards done. They're actually kind of unique. At the time, it was very leading edge because it's actually a wireless keyboard, but unfortunately they actually didn't perform very well. So I may have to try to see if I can cable up. You can see that there's a little cable. I'll have to source the cable. The wireless part doesn't really work that much. Anyway, so those are 3 projects I kind of have on the go, and then as you can see, I got plenty of other things to work on. I got a couple of those Commodore 64s already working. I got a 128, but it needs a lot of work. You can see I got a bunch of, these are called IBM PS2 Model 30s. Want to get a couple of those going. And then I got these Model 25s like these guys. I got a few of them. I don't know if it's a couple of those. I want to get a couple of those back up and running too. So anyway, so those are all my hardware projects. I got some coding projects, but this is kind of what I'm hoping to do over the next few weeks. Talk to you soon.